Since the adoption of the Millennium Development Goals, the world has seen significant progress in the number of children going to school. In fact, since 2000, the number of children who are out of school has halved. But we've also learned that going to school isn't itself enough to guarantee learning. Around the world, there are 130 million children who've completed 4 years of primary education and who can neither read nor write. There's a further 61 million children who've dropped out of school and 59 million children who've never had the chance. That's 250 million children who can't read or write. The failure of education systems to ensure that children are literate is a scandal. In response to the global learning crisis, Save the Children launched a concerted effort to test, grow and learn from our literacy programming. Between 2012 and 2015, we tracked 35 Save the Children literacy programs in 22 countries. We reached 1.3 million children and worked with thousands of teachers, parents and community members. Across multiple countries and contexts, a number of factors consistently emerged that were critical to ensuring that children learnt to read effectively. These lessons in literacy have informed the development of 8 principles for effective literacy action. The 8 principles provide a framework which we believe can help countries improve children's literacy. So let's look at the 8 principles now. Principle 1. Start early. Children need access to materials like books and lots of exposure to spoken language in order to develop the essential skills necessary to eventually learn to read when they start primary school. Our programming demonstrated that both centre-based and family-focused literacy interventions worked and were cost-effective in supporting children's development of their emergent literacy skills. Principle 2 is all about books. It sounds obvious, but children need access to books in order to learn to read. Unfortunately, in most developing countries, there's a persistent scarcity of books for children. We need to address the journey of the book from the publisher to the child in order to ensure that all children have access to more and better books. Principle 3 is about the importance of parents and communities. In many developing countries, children spend as little as 11% of the time that they are awake at school. Parents and teachers need support to encourage children to read at every opportunity. Principle 4 is about the vital role of teachers in teaching reading. Teachers often have generalised skills, but lack the skills necessary to teach reading effectively. Teachers require specific training in reading instruction in order to ensure that children in their classes learn how to read effectively. Principle 5 is about the language that's used at school. Children learn best when they learn to read in a language that they speak and understand. However, in lots of countries around the world, children are taught in a language that they don't speak at home. It is important to think carefully about the language of instruction and how students from minority language groups can be supported to learn to read. Principle 6 is about the importance of practice. It's widely recognised that the amount of time that a child engages in reading is positively related to literacy outcomes. But we found that the amount of time that children were able to read at school was inadequate. Children need more opportunities and support to read at school and at home. Principle 7 is about assessment. We need to know more about how children and education systems as a whole are doing, so we need to improve how we assess their progress in reading. At classroom level, regular assessments are essential to ensure that teachers can adjust their approaches to meet the needs of their students. At the regional and the national level, data is needed by government officials and ministries to make evidence-based policy decisions about how to improve literacy outcomes. The last of our principles, number 8, is about the importance of policy in underpinning action aimed at improving children's literacy outcomes. All of the principles that we've outlined have policy implications, so we need to see policy development and implementation in each of the 8 areas. We're calling on national governments to develop and adopt national literacy action plans that in collaboration with others would set out how they are going to ensure that every last child learns to read. The time to invest in literacy is now.